Hey, it's Wednesday, which means it's time for me to make a video for you guys. This week's video has to do with how to survive in your city, and Denton is very strange. So this can apply to most people, but it all comes down to who you are. So I'm gonna get started. First thing you need to do to survive here in Denton is develop your own style. People are different. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own style. They dress how they want to. You can go outside barefoot and people don't care. When I was growing up and I went to school, my middle school and my high school had uniforms. So for most of the time growing up and going to school, I had to wear a collared shirt and khaki pants or navy blue pants, and everyone looked the same. So I was really excited when I first came here to Denton and knew that I could dress however I wanted to. Essentially hipster. We have a lot of hipsters here, which will lead me to my next tip. Be involved in music. Denton is pretty big in the music area, which is what I love. I love music so much. Denton is a huge venue for music and it's pretty awesome. I've met really good friends. I've met really good people who are now my friends just through music itself. So it's pretty handy to know how to play something. That's a huge plus, because then you might get asked to be in a band. Next tip, since Denton is a college town, if you're going to college here in Denton or mostly just anywhere, here are some very important tips. Beware of the freshman 15. You go to college for your first year, right? And you start to get involved in the college life too much homework. You start to get stressed, and then you weigh yourself, and then you kind of start to see that your pants don't fit right, and you're 15 pounds heavier. So one of the things you can do to avoid that is exercise. UNT has this giant recreation center that has all these machines you can work out on, and they all have TVs, and there's a track in there, and swimming pool, and weights, and basketball court. So you can pretty much work out as much as you want to. Which leads me to the next thing. Get involved in a group here. It's actually really cool to find out how people function here and to find out the number of groups that actually exist here in Denton. Because Denton is pretty tiny. Denton is a pretty weird town, but there are an exciting number of groups here. When I came to Denton is when I got really involved in belly dancing. Speaking of which, I was working out earlier. That's Ashara. She's awesome. Another thing to survive here in Denton. Drink lots and lots of coffee. There are at least 3 Starbucks that I know of here in Denton, and they're all within pretty close range of each other. So coffee, espresso, late nights, exams, this is your best friend, okay? Also, when you're in college town, that means you're probably really broke. So ramen noodles are your best friend, yay! No, seriously, when you have no money left and you have to spend all your money on school supplies and you have very limited amount to spend, everyone resorts to ramen noodles. They're really cheap and you can make them in like 5 minutes and it's edible, which is all that matters. Another thing about Denton, there are a lot of homeless guys here. You know, he might actually be a really nice guy, but he always creeps me out because every time I pass by him, he like attacks me with a joke and I don't really want to hear it because he scares me. There is an art store here in Denton called Vortman's, and then next to Vortman's is this coffee shop. Now between these two places is a little nook, and every now and then when you pass by that nook, there will be homeless people standing there or sitting there or sleeping there. And most of the time you're like, fine, sure, whatever. But sometimes they're really creepy. This is why. When they talk to you and they creep you out, you don't have a choice but to turn around and say something to them. But if you have an iPod playing and your earbuds are in and you walk past them, they'll see it and automatically assume that you can't hear anything that they're saying. I don't know what else to do. Always be prepared for the weather, okay? 95% of the time the weather forecast is wrong. Tell you that it's gonna rain, cats and dogs, and hail, and it doesn't. You'll go outside and you have your umbrella and you're ready and your rain boots on and everything, and it's 90 degrees outside and you never see a drop of rain. The weather here is very bipolar and unpredictable. We no longer have a sidewalk. One of the last things I would say to survive here in Denton is go to the square. The square is really awesome. The square has a lot of bars and a lot of chill joints and lounges, and it's really cool. There are people out there and they're playing songs and singing and having a good time. Maybe there's people having a picnic. It's really cool to see, and it's probably one of the best things about living here in Denton is seeing what people do to have fun. I'll go to Natalie's Hookah Lounge to relax and chill, and I normally will bring my laptop and I'll work on music. And then of course, if you want, you can always go to the bars. There are plenty of bars in the square. Now, the bars close at 2 a.m. What happens at 2 a.m. is that a horde of drunk people are leaving the bars and going to their cars, and that totally rhymed. They're going to their cars and they're driving home, but they're drunk, okay? Then you'll see massive amounts of police cars just driving up and down the streets, because since it's a college town, they want to make sure people aren't doing anything stupid. Honestly say, I've been pulled over 3 times. I wasn't even driving. It's not even a pullover. I've been stopped by the cops 3 times walking back to my apartment from a friend's house, and I did not drink at all. And in fact, one time I sprained my ankle, so I had a limp. And this guy thought I was drunk because of my limp. And when I tried to explain to him, no, I sprained my ankle, he wanted me to take a sobriety test. But he wanted me to walk the line. And it was that moment where I just looked at him like this, and I just said, I'm limping, and you want me to walk the line. I can hop it, but there's no way I'm walking the line. Just be responsible and be smart, because the cops will arrest you or give you a sobriety test or pull you over. All of that, they will do it. I think that's all I have for now about Denton. I will see you guys next Wednesday. It's spelled D-E-N-T-O-N, but a lot of us say Denton or Denton. There's very few people that say Denton. I don't know. It's just weird. I think it's just the Texan in us, so we say Denton.